So friends, I am here to discuss one important concept in machine learning, which is called as multicollinearity. Okay, so now what exactly is multicollinearity? Multicollinearity is a state where two or more features of a data state, they are highly correlated. Okay, so like we are given a data set where there are many features like f1 and f2. Let's say we have two features f1 and f2. Now if we can write f2 as a linearly dependent on f1, like f2 is equal to alpha into f1 plus beta, where your alpha and beta, they are constant. Okay, then in this case we can say that f1 and f2, they are collinear. Okay, why they are collinear? Because it is the equation of a straight line, like which can be written as y equal to mx plus c, where m and c are constant. Okay, so as m and c are constant, so we are representing y equal to mx plus c as a straight line. So this is your x axis, this is your y axis. Same way, like we can write f1 and f2 in this way, like this is your f1, this is your f2. Okay, so this should be some equation of a straight line like this, so they are said to be collinear. So let's say we have features like f1, f2, f3 and f4. Okay, if f1 can be written as alpha 1 plus alpha 2 f2 plus alpha 3 f3 plus alpha 4 f4, we can say that f1, f2, f3 and f4 are multicollinear. So this is the concept of multicollinearity. In case of machine learning, we have to deal with multicollinearity. Okay, so multicollinearity exists whenever an independent variable, okay, independent variable, it is highly correlated with one or the more other independent variable. Okay, so it can be either a one variable or it can be two variable. So if it is related with any independent variable, we are in a multicollinearity situation, and this can create in our regression or classification problems. Okay, so now moving on to the next part. So what are the problems? Like if we have a multicollinear data, like what is the problem? The problem is that the model becomes vulnerable towards a small change of data. Okay, we have parameters like x1, x2. I'm sorry, its features such as x1, x2, x3. Now, if there is a small change in x2 and there is no change in x1 and x2, x3. Okay, in this case the value of y changes by a very huge amount. Okay, so this is because the weight, like like I have y equals to alpha 1 into x1 plus alpha 2 into x2 plus alpha 3 into x3. Okay, so what happens is that the alpha 1, alpha 2 and alpha 3, okay, they cannot be computed properly. Why they cannot be computed properly? Because when I'm writing alpha 1 into x1 plus alpha 2 into x2 plus alpha 3 into x3, okay, so as x1 and x2, they are connected by some relationship. It can be x2 is equal to a into x1. So it would be something like this. Okay, so this one would be alpha 1 plus, if I combine everything, it will be alpha 1 plus a into alpha 2 into x1 plus alpha 3 into x3. So if I have a relationship like this, my alpha 1, alpha 2 and alpha 3, the final value that I am getting, okay, so this can be, say, I am giving an example, it can be either 0, 1, 5, or it can be 1, 0, 5, something of this sort, or it can be 0.5, 0.5 and then again 5, something of this sort. So the weight vectors that I will be getting for alpha and alpha 2, alpha 3, it won't be proper. So as a result, if whenever the weight vectors they will change, and there is a small change in data, the weight vectors, they will change abruptly whenever there is a small change in the data, and this makes our model quite unstable. Okay, the second thing is that the weight vectors, we cannot use the weight vectors for feature importance directly. We will get the weight vectors when you train a logistic regression model, and these weight vectors can directly be used to get feature importance where there is an absence of multicollinearity. Okay, so we cannot efficiently get the weight vectors, as these weight vectors, they won't be a constant, they will keep on varying. So this is so then our model also it won't work properly, and the output it will give, we can't use it for classification or regression. So multicollinearity it is a problem. So when we are given the data, we have to do EDA on the data, okay, exploratory data analysis on the data, and then we have to see whether the features they are multicollinear or not. If the features they are multicollinear, then what we have to do, we have to take some appropriate steps and we have to resolve the same. Okay, so now I want to discuss with you which all machine learning models they do good with multicollinear data and which all they don't do good. Okay, so now the linear kernel of support vector machines is very similar to logistic regression, and therefore the effect of multicollinearity has a very similar case in case of linear kernel or SVM. Okay, so linear kernel of SVM and logistic regression and linear regression, okay, these three they are affected by multicollinearity, and you have to be very careful if there is multicollinear data. Now the second thing is that the RBF kernel for SVM it is based on distance between the data points. So it is similar to k nearest neighbors. Okay, so it doesn't make much sense to get feature importance in this case. So rather we look at the data points which are influenced the decision in favor of the class to get an interpretation of the model. Okay, so as they do not use the distance of the data points, so we look at the data points, sorry, it is based on the distance between the data points. So the distance it helps to make the classification decision. So multicollinearity doesn't work here because we don't see the data points exactly, we see the distance matrix, so there is no impact in getting feature importance. So RBF kernel and your k means your k nearest neighbor, KNN, okay, KNN, they are not impacted by multicollinearity. So now moving on to the next thing, your random forest it uses bootstrap sampling and feature sampling. Okay, so it selects one of the rows or one of the columns. Okay, so therefore random forest is not affected by multicollinearity because you either use x1 or x2, you have a choice, so you have a choice to discard something, so it is not impacted much by multicollinearity. Okay, so now the fourth one, naive Bayes algorithm, it uses the Bayes theorem of probability. So it assumes that the features they are independent of each other. Okay, so the presence of one feature it does not affect the presence or absence of the other feature. So multicollinearity doesn't affect the naive Bayes algorithm. Okay, so now there is one thing, Ries and your Ries regression and lasso, they are quite tolerant towards multicollinearity. They use this is because they have penal functions with them, they penalize you. Where is the Ries and lasso regression mainly used? It is they are used as penal function, so that the predictors are kept below a much specified value. Now you remember that Ries and lasso regression, they are mainly used in case where we have overfitting condition. Okay, so we can manipulate the value to a below a pre-specified value, so that we can keep away from multicollinearity. Okay, so now the Ries regression, it is the L2 norm of the Euclidean distance. Your lasso is the L1 norm of the Manhattan distance. This is for your information. If you don't remember, please go through it. Okay, so now I have given you some sources, like please go through these sources, like you can know more about them. In fact, this my presentation, I have gone through these sources and I have made, and I would also want you to go through these sources, so you can find it useful. Multicollinearity is a very important feature, and you need to know which all model like are impacted by multicollinearity, so that you can take precautions for those model while you are building your training model. Okay, so I think you find my video useful. Thank you for watching.